Ever catch yourself, kind of pondering those big, like, existential questions?
Yeah.
Like, what's really real? How do we actually know anything?
Right.
Like,
Okay.
it's that deep human thing, this need to grasp, I don't know, the essence of it all.
Totally.
And we've seen throughout history thinkers tackle this massive challenge from all sorts of angles.
Yeah.
Today, we're going deep into the work of someone who tried to bridge these two worlds that, honestly, often feel miles apart. Philosophy, all abstract and everything, and then, like, this super precise world of logic.
Makes sense.
We're talking about Heinrich Scholz,
Okay, Schultz.
a German scholar born way back in 1884.
Okay.
What's so intriguing about him is, well, his intellectual journey, how his thinking evolved.
I see, yeah.
See, he started in theology.
Theology.
So, questions of faith, belief, all that.
Right.
But then he makes this significant turn towards, get this, mathematical logic.
Huh. That's quite a shift.
It's pretty drastic. And it
Yeah.
really helps us understand his unique approach to, well, being a philosopher.
I'm intrigued.
Right. Theologian turned logician.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what prompted that kind of change?
Exactly.
And the sources you shared, they show us. Schultz wasn't just content with, studying philosophy. He dove headfirst into the tools of logic.
Interesting.
So in this deep dive, what we're going to really explore is how he used this, like, logical lens
Okay.
to grapple with these core philosophical questions.
Right.
Even venturing into, metaphysics.
Metaphysics, always tricky.
That area that's, like, constantly debated, sometimes feels impossible to pin down.
Yeah, I get you.
Our mission here is to understand Schultz's way of, I guess you could say, being a philosopher,
Okay.
but through these lens of logic.
You'll like it.
And what his contributions are, what he really gave us in terms of understanding knowledge itself.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's start with his academic journey, how it all began. So his early academic path was, pretty standard for the time. He studied Protestant theology and philosophy in Berlin.
Berlin.
And he got to learn from some big names, real heavy hitters in the field.
Oh, like who?
Well, there was Adolf von Harnack.
Harnack.
He
Okay.
was a leading theologian,
Oh, right.
exposed Schultz to these, like, critical approaches to religious texts.
Makes sense.
Then there's Alois Riel,
Real.
a Neo-Kantian philosopher.
Got it.
So Riel likely shaped Schultz's understanding of, like, epistemology, the study of knowledge,
Yeah.
and metaphysics, too.
Yeah, right.
And to broaden things even further, there was Friedrich Paulsen,
Wilson? Okay.
known for his work in ethics and educational philosophy.
Interesting mix of influences.
It is,
Yeah.
right. And this early exposure to such diverse perspectives, it's key.
I bet.
It sets the stage.
Totally.
He goes on to get his habilitation,
Habilitation.
which, think of it like a super doctorate,
Wow.
qualifies you to be a professor in Germany.
So, high-level stuff.
Big time. He gets it in philosophy of religion and systematic theology.
Impressive.
Then he earns another doctorate,
Seriously.
this one specifically in philosophy from the University of Erlangen.
This guy's a machine.
Right. So he's got this incredibly solid foundation in the, like, traditional approaches to philosophy and theology.
Okay, yeah.
But, and this is important, he wasn't just a student.
Right.
He became a professor in those very fields.
Of course, yeah.
First at the University of Breslau,
Breslau.
and then later at Kiel.
Kiel. Got it.
He even received an honorary doctorate from the theology faculty back in Berlin.
So he was well on his way, established in these fields.
Totally. It seemed like he was set on this very specific academic path.
Yeah.
So here's the question.
Okay.
With this successful career in theology and philosophy, what changed?
What was the turning point?
Exactly. What sparked this deep dive into, of all things, logic?
It's a good question.
So picture this.
Okay.
Schultz is a professor at Kiel, and he stumbles upon this book in the university library.
Okay.
It's called Principia Mathematica.
Principia Mathematica.
Yeah, by Bertrand Russell and Alfred North Whitehead.
Famous work.
Hugely influential. Now, this book, it aimed to derive all of mathematics from basic logical principles,
Ambitious.
to say the least. For someone steeped in theology and philosophy, this must have been, like, mind-blowing.
I can imagine.
Now, Schultz didn't have this strong mathematical background at the time.
Right.
But the rigor, the precision of their logical system, it just captivated him.
It hooked him.
Totally. This wasn't some passing interest either. He was so drawn to it, he went back to university.
Back to school.
Yep, to formally study mathematics and theoretical physics.
Wow, that's dedication.
He needed to fully understand the foundations of this whole new approach to knowledge.
That's a serious commitment.
Right, like restarting your education in a completely different field after already achieving so much.
Yeah, it shows how deeply Principia Mathematica affected him.
Exactly. So we've got Scholz with this newfound passion, this rigorous training in logic and mathematics.
Okay, he's equipped.
What does he do next? How does he go about establishing mathematical logic as a legitimate field of study in Germany?
So this is where Scholz really shines.
Oh, yeah.
He was incredibly successful at this.
Tell me more.
He essentially spearheaded the academic establishment of mathematical logic in Germany.
Wow.
He founded what we now know as the Münster School of Logicians.
Münster School.
And probably most importantly, he created the very first university department in Germany dedicated specifically to mathematical logic.
No way.
It's true. It was called the Institute for Mathematical Logic and Foundational Research at the University of Münster.
Institute for Mathematical Logic and Foundational Research.
Yeah, a mouthful.
But super important.
And here's the really amazing part.
What's that?
This institute is still a leading center for logic research today.
That's incredible.
Right. It speaks volumes about how strong the foundations he laid were.
A lasting legacy.
Absolutely.
So it wasn't just a personal interest for him.
Yeah.
He built this whole intellectual infrastructure around it.
He was a builder.
Now, the sources mentioned a memorandum he wrote in 1938.
Okay, the memorandum.
Can you tell us about that? What was his vision for this, burgeoning field of mathematical logic?
This memorandum about the new mathematical logic and foundational research, it gives us a peek into how Scholz was thinking.
A glimpse into his mind.
Right. In it, he argued this new field wasn't just about playing around with symbols,
Okay.
manipulating them according to some rules.
More than just a game.
Much more. He saw it as this broader intellectual project.
Like what?
The application of rigorous logical analysis, but not just to math.
To what then?
To fundamental problems across all fields of study.
That's a big claim.
He believed that by using this precision of logic, philosophers, and really anyone could get a clearer understanding of these, fundamental questions that we grapple with.
So logic as a tool for everyone, not just mathematicians.
Exactly.
Now, who did he see as the key thinkers, the ones who kind of paved the way for this logical approach to philosophical inquiry?
Well, according to Scholz, there were three intellectual giants
Okay, the big three.
who were crucial in developing the groundwork for this new field.
And they were.
Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, Gottlob Frege, and David Hilbert.
Leibniz, Frege, and Hilbert.
That's right.
Okay, tell me more about their roles.
So first, Leibniz, with his idea of a universal symbolic language, he was like this visionary forerunner.
A man ahead of his time.
Then came Frege. Scholz considered him the actual founder of modern logic.
Because of it.
His rigorous formal system.
Okay, makes sense.
And lastly, there's Hilbert,
Hilbert.
who built on Frege's work as interpreted by Russell and championed this idea of rigorously investigating the foundations of mathematics.
With the goal of.
Proving consistency using logic.
Interest.
This was a direct challenge to Immanuel Kant.
Kant, the giant of philosophy.
Right. Kant had this view that mathematical methods were too limited to really address deep philosophical questions.
So Scholz is pushing back against Kant, saying logic can do more.
That's the heart of it.
Okay, so Scholz saw his work as part of this intellectual lineage, pushing the boundaries of what logic can do, showing that it can be a powerful tool for tackling those really fundamental issues.
Exactly.
And it sounds like he was very intentional, very meticulous in how he built up his department in Münster to further this vision.
Oh, yeah, it was a deliberate, gradual process.
Walk me through it.
It started as this logistics section within the philosophical seminar in 1936.
Okay, humble beginnings.
Then, in 1938, it became its own independent seminar.
Gaining some traction.
And even the name of his professorial chair changed over time.
What did it become?
Mathematical Logic and Foundational Research in 1943.
Titchy.
And finally, this led to the establishment of the fully independent institute in 1950.
The Institute for Mathematical Logic and Foundational Research.
The one we talked about earlier, yeah.
So step by step, he's building up this institution.
Exactly.
It shows his deep commitment to establishing mathematical logic, not just as some, technical thing,
Right.
but as a vital tool for philosophical inquiry.
A new way to do philosophy.
With this dedicated department, he started attracting students, developing his own school of thought.
The Schule von Münster.
That's the one. Can you tell us more about this group?
The group von Münster, which later became the Schule von Münster, became this really important center for logic research.
A hub of activity.
Scholz was clearly a very influential mentor, guiding his students to specialize in logic, foundations of knowledge.
Helping them launch their careers.
Exactly. And his students made significant contributions across many areas within mathematical logic.
What kind of areas?
Well, there were advancements in the theory of predicate calculus, a fundamental part of modern logic. They worked on developing axiomatic systems, doing research in metamathematics, which is the study of the properties of logical and mathematical systems themselves.
Whoa, meta.
Right. They also did work in semantics, the study of meaning, and even in abstraction theory, which deals with how we form abstract concepts.
Wow, they covered a lot of ground.
They did.
Were there any standout figures in this group?
Oh, yeah. Some notable names include Friedrich Bachmann, Albrecht Becker-Freising, Gisbert Hasenjäger, Hans Hermes, Walter Kinder, Karl Schroeter, and Hermann Schweitzer.
Quite a roster.
It really was a dynamic and productive environment.
All centered around using logic as a primary tool for philosophy.
That was the driving force.
And I understand they even had their own publication series.
They did. It was called Forschungen zur Logik und zur Grundlegung der exakten Wissenschaften.
Which means?
Investigations into logic and the foundations of the exact sciences.
A fitting title.
This platform showcased the research coming out of the Münster School and related work.
Providing a space for these new ideas.
Exactly. One really important publication was Die sogenannten Definitionen durch Abstraktion.
Good, that one.
By Scholz and Hermann Schweitzer.
What was it about?
It made significant advances in modern abstraction theory using this concept of equivalence classes.
Equivalence classes, a key tool in both math and logic, right?
Sure, for defining abstract entities, yeah.
So Scholz was deeply dedicated to building up this field in Germany.
He was passionate about it.
Not just for its own sake, but as a way to equip philosophers with more rigorous tools.
He saw the potential.
And our sources mention something about him acquiring some incredibly valuable historical documents.
Oh, yes. This is a fascinating part of the story, but also a bit sad.
How so?
Well, Scholz, in his mission to make Münster this leading center for mathematical logic, he managed to acquire the Nachlass, the collected posthumous papers of Gottlob Frege.
Frege, the pioneer of modern logic.
Exactly. So these papers were incredibly valuable.
I bet.
And later, he also got the papers of Ernst Schröder, another important figure in the history of logic, specifically algebraic logic.
From where?
From the library of the Technical University of Karlsruhe.
Bringing together these crucial documents all in one place.
An amazing accomplishment.
So what happened? What makes this sad?
Well, tragically, both Frige's and Schroeder's papers were lost during World War II.
Lost.
Most likely destroyed in the Allied bombing raids on Münster in March of 1945.
That's devastating.
A huge loss for the history of logic.
What a blow.
Scholz had even planned to publish a comprehensive 3-volume edition of Frige's unpublished work.
Wow.
There is a sliver of good news, though.
Oh.
Most of the typewritten copies that Scholz had made of Frige's original manuscripts were saved.
At least there's that.
It's something.
It really makes you think about how fragile these things are.
Yeah.
These invaluable resources gone in an instant.
It's a reminder of how important preservation is.
Now, all of this was happening during a very tumultuous time in Germany.
Ah, yes, the Third Reich.
How did Scholz, with his commitment to logic, navigate that period?
This is where you really see Scholz's character.
In what way?
His intellectual integrity, his commitment to this idea that logic is universal.
Not bound by ideology.
Exactly. While many German logicians who didn't align with the Nazi ideology were forced to emigrate, Münster, surprisingly, remained a center for logical research.
Under Scholz's leadership.
That's right. He actively resisted the Deutsche Mathematik movement.
Deutsche Mathematik.
It was this nationalistic, racially motivated movement within mathematics,
Promoting?
the work of supposedly Aryan mathematicians.
And rejecting.
Logicism, the axiomatic method, and metamathematics.
Labeling them as
Un-German and Jewish.
So Scholz was standing against this tide.
He was defending the importance of rigorous logic, no matter its perceived origins.
That must have been dangerous.
It was. He faced direct attacks.
From who?
Figures like Max Steck.
Steck.
In his book, Das Hauptproblem der Mathematik, he explicitly criticizes Scholz and the Münster School.
How so?
He even labeled them a transplantation of the earlier so-called Vienna Circle to Münster.
trying to associate them with this supposedly foreign and undesirable intellectual movement.
That's right. It was a risky move for Scholz.
It sounds like he was walking a tightrope.
He was. But he didn't just keep his head down and focus on his work.
What did he do?
He went above and beyond to support colleagues facing persecution.
Wow.
He became this crucial information broker.
Connecting?
Those who had emigrated and those who stayed in Germany.
Putting himself at risk.
He did. And he also directly intervened to help Polish colleagues.
Can you give an example?
One incredible act of courage was when he helped secure the release of Jan Salamucha from the Sachsenhausen concentration camp in 1940. A concentration camp.
That could have cost him his own position.
It could have. He also provided support to Alfred Tarski.
Tarski, who had emigrated to the United States.
Yes. Scholz stayed in contact with Tarski's family, who were still in occupied Warsaw. And he even gave financial aid and helped Jan Łukasiewicz and his wife hide in Germany when they feared for their safety.
These are amazing acts of bravery.
They reveal a deep sense of moral responsibility and a commitment to the international community of scholars.
Standing up for his principles, even in the face of danger.
Exactly. His dedication to logic and reason wasn't just theoretical, it was deeply personal and ethical.
It's a powerful reminder of how important it is to act on your beliefs.
It is.
Now, shifting back to his intellectual work, our sources discuss his relationship with logical empiricism.
Okay, logical empiricism.
Can you explain that connection?
Scholz and his followers in Münster, they shared some common ground with the logical empiricists.
The Vienna Circle, the Berlin Society for Scientific Philosophy?
Those groups, yeah. Both were committed to a scientific worldview.
Emphasizing
Empirical evidence, logical analysis as tools for understanding the world.
But there was a point of disagreement.
There was. A big one.
What was it?
The logical empiricists, they rejected metaphysics.
Saw it as meaningless speculation.
Scholz, on the other hand, wanted to apply that same scientific rigor to metaphysics.
So a fundamental difference in approach.
Exactly.
How did the logical empiricists react to that? To Scholz trying to bring metaphysics into the realm of scientific inquiry?
They weren't thrilled.
Can you elaborate?
Otto Neurath, a major figure in logical empiricism, he acknowledged Scholz's contributions to logic.
So he respected his work.
To a degree, yeah. But Neurath explicitly stated that Scholz represents nevertheless a full-blown metaphysics.
Which for a logical empiricist was a problem.
A big one. Their relationship was complex, a mix of intellectual exchange and disagreement.
They could agree to disagree.
Well, sort of. Interestingly, despite their philosophical differences, Scholz took the initiative at the First International Congress for Unity of Science in Paris.
Okay, what did he do?
He established a committee for standardizing logical symbolism.
Interesting.
This committee included representatives from the Vienna Circle, the Hilbert School, and his own Münster group.
So a collaborative effort, despite their differences.
It shows a pragmatic side, a willingness to work together on the tools, even if they had different ultimate goals.
Finding common ground in the methodology.
Exactly.
Now, before diving deep into logic, Scholz, as we mentioned, was a theologian.
Right, his earlier work.
Did that earlier work in philosophy of religion connect to his later logical pursuits?
It's an interesting question. While his focus clearly shifted to logic, his 1921 book, Religion's Philosophy, offers some clues.
About?
His broader intellectual approach, his enduring interest in those fundamental questions.
What was the book about specifically?
He dedicated it to his former teachers, Harnack and Riehl, which suggests he still valued his theological background.
A nod to his roots.
He argued that philosophy of religion isn't about directly examining religious experience itself, but rather the possibility of religion.
Based on?
The fact that it exists in human culture.
So religion as a legitimate philosophical problem.
That's how he saw it. He focused on empirical religion, how it's actually practiced, rather than constructing theoretical systems.
It's a more grounded approach.
And he concluded that philosophy of religion has this integrating function within a larger philosophy of cultural values.
So, while seemingly distant from mathematical logic, there's a thread connecting them.
A shared concern with analyzing fundamental concepts, exploring the foundations of human experience.
Maybe laying the groundwork for his later, more logic-driven approach.
It's possible.
Now, let's get to the heart of his work in Logic and Foundations.
Okay.
The sources mention this concept of a Leibniz language.
Leibniz language, interesting.
And his book, Metaphysik als strenge Wissenschaft, Metaphysics as Rigorous Science.
An ambitious title.
What were his key ideas here? Where he really tried to use logic to do philosophy in this new way?
This is where Scholz tries to apply the precision of mathematical logic to classic philosophical questions, especially in metaphysics.
Okay.
He was influenced by David Hilbert's program in the Foundations of Mathematics.
Hilbert's program, aiming to provide solid logical foundations for math.
That's it. Scholz was particularly interested in the difference between logical calculi, the formal systems of logic, and general calculi.
Which could represent other domains of knowledge.
Exactly. He emphasized language as the key,
Languages.
the way we present and analyze these systems.
Okay.
And he proposed this idea of a Leibniz language, which he denoted as L.
L for Leibniz.
This was envisioned as an ideal language with even more precision than the formal languages used in mathematics.
So like ultimate clarity.
Every expression with a perfectly defined meaning, no ambiguity, and you could determine if an expression is true in all possible worlds.
What he called universal validity.
And a fundamental expression that's true in all possible worlds within this language would be a Leibniz theorem.
Okay, so this Leibniz language, it was like this perfect tool for philosophers.
In theory, yes.
And how did this connect to his project of establishing metaphysics as rigorous science?
His 1941 book, Metaphysik als Strömsche Wissenschaft, is where he lays this out.
His big statement.
He argued that metaphysics, the study of the nature of reality, could be a rigorous science, like math.
Treated with the same level of precision.
He believed that ontology, the part of metaphysics dealing with what exists, could be formulated in a very precise, formalized language.
Okay.
He used first-order predicate calculus with identity as the model for this precision language.
So bringing in the heavy machinery of logic.
And the core concept for him was this universal validity.
Which meant?
Truth that holds across all possible worlds and in all non-empty domains of objects.
A very broad scope.
He even analyzed classic metaphysical doctrines like Plato's theory of forms, Leibniz's possible worlds, using this framework.
Putting these old ideas through a new logical filter.
He drew from Platonic ontology, Leibniz's metaphysics, the logic of Frege and Russell, Hilbert's axiomatic method, and even Alfred Tarski's work on semantics.
That's a lot of different ideas all coming together.
A real intellectual melting pot.
Trying to build this comprehensive system for doing philosophy with the power of modern logic.
A bold undertaking.
And I understand a very influential textbook came out of this whole intellectual scene.
Yeah, Grundzüge der mathematischen Logik, Basic Features of Mathematical Logic, which was elaborated and published by his student Gisbert Hasenjäger.
After Scholz's death.
Right, in 1961, this book became a major text in the field.
What was its philosophical perspective?
Hasenjäger described it as discrete ontology.
Discrete ontology.
This view sees the world, whether physical objects or abstract concepts, as made up of distinct entities.
Entities that either have certain properties or don't, and specific relations either hold between them or they don't.
Exactly. It aligns with Scholz's emphasis on a precise language to describe the structure of reality.
So meaning and clear-cut entities at the core of his logical work.
That's right.
Now, beyond his systematic work, Scholz was also a significant figure in the history of logic itself, wasn't he?
Absolutely. His contributions to the historiography of logic are considered some of his most important work.
What did he focus on?
He highlighted the roles of thinkers like Leibniz and Bernard Bolzano.
Arguing that?
They were key figures in the development leading up to modern mathematical logic.
Yep.
He also used his logical methods to analyze classic philosophical texts.
Offering new interpretations.
Of arguments like Anselm's ontological proof for God's existence, Descartes' famous cogito, I think, therefore I am, and Kant's transcendental deduction.
Wow, covering a lot of ground.
He was also dedicated to studying and promoting the work of Gottlob Frege and David Hilbert's program in metamathematics.
So he's building this historical narrative.
Showing how the development of logic led to his own approach, where it could be used effectively for philosophical inquiry.
And he wrote a book on the history of logic.
Yes, his Geschichte der Logik from 1931.
What did he cover?
He focused on formal logic, tracing its evolution from Aristotle through the Stoics, medieval logicians, early modern philosophers, all the way to Franz Brentano.
Who Scholz considered a key figure in 19th century German logic.
After Bolzano and before Edmund Husserl, yeah.
So he's tracing this long lineage.
For Scholz, Leibniz marked a turning point, a sunrise for Aristotelian logic that eventually led to the modern, precise logic of his time.
And Frege.
He recognized Frege as the greatest genius of the new logic in the 19th century.
for his work on.
The Foundations of Mathematics Using Logic, which, according to Scholz, took logical calculus to a new level where Leibniz's idea of a calculus ratiocinator, a kind of game with signs for reasoning, finally became possible.
So a clear historical progression leading to his own work,
With Leibniz and Frege as the pivotal figures.
laying the groundwork for the rigorous logic that he championed as essential for doing philosophy.
That's the through line.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it's clear that Heinrich Scholz was a unique and influential figure.
Absolutely.
He really tried to bridge mathematical logic and philosophy,
He saw them as interconnected.
arguing that these rigorous logical methods were crucial for tackling even the most fundamental philosophical questions.
Pushing the boundaries of what logic could do.
And his focus on semantics, on the meaning behind those logical symbols, that had a lasting impact.
It shaped the field after World War II.
And the fact that so many of his students became important figures in German post-war logic, that's a testament to his influence.
He was a true mentor as well as a brilliant scholar,
He was an integrator, bringing together different intellectual traditions,
challenging traditional ways of thinking.
pushing forward this idea that we can use logic to better understand knowledge and reality.
His work continues to be relevant.
So, thinking about Scholz's commitment to logic and his vision of this Leibniz language, what would a modern version of that look like?
In our age of artificial intelligence and all this data,
Exactly. Could such a language help us understand complex systems better?
or shed new light on those age-old philosophical debates?
It's a question worth pondering.
It is. The potential of Scholz's approach is still unfolding.
Thank you for joining me for this deep dive into the fascinating world of Heinrich Scholz.
It's been a pleasure.